Greetings, community. It's Kevin from 1-2 Comic Talk, and it's a very fine evening on this Monday, Margarita Monday. And how about we invite our first guest? How you doing?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I apologize. I can't stay too long. I gotta get to bed. I gotta be up crazy early to go get some blood work done for a diabetes checkup. But I wanted to pop in and see how things were going.
Things are okay, man. I appreciate you popping in, and I
Yeah,
understand. Yeah, Khalees has actually been she's been having a couple of moments herself of late.
yeah.
I really am
That's-
contributing to the fact that just in part it's stress, just from the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, I one of the reasons. So I run a lot, and one of the reasons I run a lot is because I it's easier to control my blood sugar if I'm active, and I have to take less insulin, and so it's also cheaper that way. And so when you're stuck inside and you can't do a whole lot for most of the day, that sort of becomes a problem. And it's a lot harder to control everything when you're stuck inside being sick most of the time.
Yeah.
So I get that.
No, and I get it with you too. And and it's good though that you're able to actually still, how should I say, be able to see your endo and be able to get some blood work. I assume that's who you're going to see, right? Your endocrinologist.
Yeah, well, so the endocrinologist ordered the blood work. I just need to go get the blood work done. But yeah, it's for the endocrinologist.
Well, what a coincidence. An individual hanging out with us. Hey, Superior, I appreciate you being here. He's type 1
Oh
also.
no, look at that. Right on. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, it's a small world, as you well know. You end up
Yeah, yeah.
starting talking to people and you end up, oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a had and his name was Spencer out in college for like 6 or 7 months until we both realized that we were both type ones. And we're like, what the hell? What?
Yeah, because it's not something that you just volunteer information about normally. It's not like, hey, I'm wearing the sign. Did you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so that happened a lot in high school too. Like my football coaches and stuff. I remember the first day I met my football coach in high school, I was sitting on this chair outside the stadium and shooting up my insulin, and he walks up. He's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And I was like, I'm just doing my insulin. He's like, "Dude, you got to tell us that. Like, you can't just like go around with that information without us knowing." And like, it's just a part of life, and so you just forget to tell people, and you forget that it can freak people out.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. So other than that, how's things been going? I mean, you do anything new? You pick up a new hobby?
Um, I got really good at making tortillas. We have a lot of Mexican food now because I've perfected tortilla making. But um, I've been trying to write more and more. It becomes difficult to write when you're stuck in the same environment. Because before, like I would go to work and then I'd come home to be a change of environment, and then I'd be able to sit down in a new place and write. But now it's like I sit here and I work for 8 hours, and then I don't want to sit here anymore, and so it's hard to then roll that over into writing time. But on the weekends, I wake up early on the weekends and try to get as much writing done then. So working on a first novel, and then a couple other comic stories that I'm hoping to get the ball rolling on soon enough.
Yeah, no, I get it. Because sometimes in these circumstances, you're a little more restricted in the sense of what you require on your normal daily basis to get amused, some type
Yeah,
of invigoration, something that will get you going, hey, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean?
right, right, yeah, yeah. So what I usually do in those times too, like I don't feel inspired, the lack of amuse and everything, is I just write the most nonsensical gibberish. I just write anything that comes to my head. It's almost like I can't even think of the term right now. It's like free writing, whatever. You
Sure.
just write whatever comes in your head, and then you just write until something actually pops in that's useful, or something that's of quality, and then you just throw everything else away and just run with the good idea that you just randomly popped out. So that's a fun exercise to try and get something worthwhile out of it.
I'm finding right now that there's I mean, obviously, as long as you're not hurting one. But what I'm getting at is there's no right now, there's no bad way of breaking away or a bad, you know what I mean? I'm seeing so many people going, yeah, you know what? Because I haven't been able to read, all of a sudden I'm now making toys. Or,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, it's just, it's so, me, I'm wearing a wet hat right now because it's still just drying. But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I got to help my neighbor who came down here with a chainsaw, which was freaking awesome. And he chopped down my
yeah,
trees for me, with no cost, no nothing. I mean, the community right now within my own neighborhood is really cool. Yes, we want to
that's
stay at distance, and yes, we're respecting one another, but everyone's willing to say, "Hey, you know, whatever I can do." I said, "Well, can you chop down my tree?"
yeah, yeah, that's rad. Yeah, that's good. Right on.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've been out there every day working in the backyard, and I'm sure this community is probably sick and tired of me. But I so look forward for it to be complete because it's going to be so fucking awesome. I've been going out
Yeah,
there building fires in the pit and trying to enjoy it the best I could. And you're in this vicinity too, right? You live here in California,
yeah. I live in San Diego.
right? So, did it rain for you this morning?
No, it was. I think it was a little cloudy. It was a little cooler than usual, but we didn't get any rain this morning, at least in my
Yeah,
area.
it was so beautiful. It rained this morning, and then it had this fine mist that lasted up until around noon. So I figured,
Yeah,
hey, there's an excuse not to do anything for a while, but
right.
build and just hang out, you know. And then, I mean, I didn't even finish my cup of coffee until after 1.
Oh yeah. Dude, have you? So I see a lot of comic artists for some reason. This seems to be a lot of their coffee of choice, but like a lot of comic artists that I know jump on the Death Wish coffee train. Have you tried that?
I haven't, but you know what? That's funny that you say that because I've been seeing posts on Instagram. Is that what you've been seeing on Instagram?
No, no. I mean, it's for a couple years now. I think it started. I think Greg Capullo for a long time was championing Death Wish coffee, and then after that, throughout the years, I've just seen a lot of people post a bunch of stuff. I think Kelly Williams might have just shown something for it.
Hmm.
But yes, but like it seems like every day of quarantine, I feel like I need more and more caffeine just to make it through the day. And so
Okay.
like I was sick of drinking 6, 7, 8 cups a day, and so I was like, all right, I'll try this Death Wish, and I think it was like a little bit of an overcorrection, and so I had 1 cup, but like I love the taste of coffee, and so like I thought if I have more than one, it's going to be way too much.
All right.
But I want more coffee because I love the taste of coffee, and so I think I got to start blending it with something else.
And well, see, you know what there's a place that I favor, and I've been favoring this place almost when I first met my wife. But anyways, so this goes back a lot of years. A place called Neighbors Coffee, and the
Mm,
reason why I like Neighbors is they're kind of mom and popish out of I want to say Kentucky,
yeah,
and what they specialize in land raised coffees. So if you
great.
really want something from Aruba, or you're really looking for that Nairobian, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So one, you can get something really thick, or you can get something land race, or in the case of me, I
Mm.
always say I drink liquid candy
Oh yeah.
because I drink
You,
flavored
yeah.
coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the kind of guy that likes a little coffee with his cream and sugar.
Well, the coffee itself is flavored, so I like
I see. Yeah, yeah.
banana nut split,
Right,
caramel
right, right.
chips. So then I barely have to touch it with a creamer, and then yeah, I'm good.
Right on.
So I found that place to be good because then I can go ahead and find my level. So
Uh-huh.
sometimes I can get that just below jittery.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What are you drinking over there? I can't drink right now because I got blood work in the morning, but what do you got going on over there?
I have found my blend of choice, which is Quevro pre-mixed strawberry margarita with a little sour in there.
Oh yeah. Right on.
And then I buy this daiquiri mix and I just use a little smidge of that. I
Hmm.
put about a half a shot of silver in there,
Yeah.
uh, usually some decent type, and then yeah, blend up with 4 strawberries and some ice. That's
Nice.
yeah.
That sounds rad.
I don't normally drink other than for this show.
Sure.
Seriously, it's this show, and this show is just for the artists. You know, I usually invite 12 and see who shows up,
Right on.
and
Cool.
then on
Cool.
the Fridays I invite nothing but YouTubers and see who shows up.
That's right. I think I saw. What did you call it on Fridays? I think I just saw one of the YouTube videos on there.
So this one is the
This is
Margarita Monday, and then
right.
Friday is considered cocktails and comics.
Cocktails and Cots. Right. That's what it was.
Yeah, because the mentality for me on this one was, when you guys are usually leaving from your cons, it's either Sunday night that you're checking out and bailing off because you got to go, or you'll
Right.
stay there until the Monday morning. And sometimes you'll have either a Bloody Mary, meaning typical people will have
Right.
that
Right.
that are burned out and they're on the end of a con, or they have in between time. But I just noticed
Yeah.
that people have missed that bar convention conversation that you guys always had. Doesn't matter if you drink or not. I just know that you guys would pass by one another at restaurants and shit like that and just rap. And I
Yeah.
know that you guys don't have that.
There's been a push that I admire lately. So I'm always a fan of the of going out to bars and drinking and chatting up with other creators and stuff. But like there's also been a push I've seen recently to try and edge away a little bit from it being a drinking social event, because a lot of creators I know also don't drink.
Mhm.
And it kind of becomes it's not, I don't want to say it's awkward, but they don't it's just not quite as conducive an environment if they're in an area where everyone else is drinking, and so like they've been meeting up at like just at restaurants or just or at parks even, just to try and find a social environment to hang out and chat after cons that doesn't involve drinking, which I think is really cool.
I
Um,
love that. That's
I,
fucking
I
badass.
yeah, I mean, I'll say again, like I'll probably go to the ones where I can be drinking, but I definitely I love the idea of having a non-alcoholic social gathering like that. It's good.
Sure. I mean, in all reality, my drink of choice is smoke, and I don't smoke. I usually vape. So I'm just saying that,
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't normally drink,
Yeah,
and my indulgence is not usually from, drinking.
right.
But I get it. This again. This was just, it's more of a social event, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to grab a few people that are very shy as far as coming on, and I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah.
get them out to the world. There's so many fucking rad artists I know
Yeah.
that just don't want to jump on here.
Yeah. I'm not much of an introvert, but like when I first started talking to people in the comics game, it can be intimidating to talk to other creators and stuff, because you always feel like that they're ahead of you in some way because you're just starting, or because you haven't talked to a lot of people. At least myself, every creator that I meet, I'm like, you're so much better than I am. I don't know what I'm doing here. But then like if you actually talk to them, like you kind of understand that either there isn't as big of a gap as you might imagine. Like we're all people, we're all just hanging out, we're all just trying to do our own comics and stuff. But doing online stuff is a nice sort of an entry level version of that, instead of going to a con and having that weird power dynamic between you and the person behind the table to try and strike up a conversation or whatever. This doing stuff online, you can jump in and out as much as you want. You don't have, like right now, I don't have FaceTime on my phone. That's because my camera doesn't work. But if you so chose, you don't have to show your face. You can just kind of
Exactly.
have a chill conversation. It's like training wheels for actually hanging out and talking to other people. It's great.
You know what? I've not. There's so many things that you touched on that I've not really considered, and wow. I mean, there's actually so much there to unpack that my brain's actually trying to figure out which one to touch on, because
Yeah.
it's true. It's no, I agree. It's actually taken me quite a long time for me to get even somewhat comfortable on this side of the camera, because I've always been on the other side for so long. Hey, Dylan. And by the way, Dylan says hi, Dylan.
What's up? What's up, Dylan?
And yeah, it's taken some time for me to be able to be comfortable to be able to just carry a conversation even to a camera, even if someone's there or not. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I know there's a lot of people out there that feel intimidated to do so. I've actually told a few people that want to come on here, and some of these people, I invited people that that do not feel comfortable being on, on the camera thing. And I said, hey, look, you don't have to, like you said, you don't have to do the camera thing. Just do the voice thing.
Sure.
And they're, well, and I get it. I'm not here to push anybody. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But man, there's just so many people that I miss their company. I
Right.
mean, even what little company I had of theirs, I miss it. I miss talking to certain people. And to touch on another thing, it's funny that when you were talking about that comparison in art, because art is art in my eyes. It doesn't matter if you're cooking, it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? And I play music. I've noticed the same intimidation thing when you're talking to other musicians, that you always feel that you're, and I know it's a self-conscious thing, I'm speaking for myself, but you're kind of sitting there going, am I judging myself or are they judging me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey, Kenny, how you doing?
What's going on, man?
Kenny, Dylan, Kenny. I'm not certain if you guys know one another.
I don't think
know we do. Yeah, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing all right. Nice to meet you.
You too. Yeah, I'm over at my studio right now, so I figured I'd drop in and say what's up.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. My wife was asking for something, and I was trying to figure out life here. I don't claim to actually have the highest amount of intelligence, so she always proves that to be true.
That's what your wife's for, right?
So, yeah, I was being dumb, and she was just pointing it out.
Keeps you honest.
Well, hey, you know what? I don't claim to be infallible, so I gotta humble myself every once in a while and say, you're right, I'm wrong, you're right. So, hey, how you doing, Kenny? I saw a couple things that you've been posting. You're like so close to hitting your second stretch. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I haven't looked at it in a little bit. Let's see here.
Oh, what's this?
We're doing pretty good.
Let me look at this thing. What do you got going on?
Apex Cybernetic Samurai L. It's my Kickstarter I'm running right now. I don't know how to post a link here. Let me see.
If that was too quick there, Dylan. He's working on a project.
Yeah.
Called Samurai, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Samurai Apex Al.
Apex Cybernetic Samurai Al. Sorry, I was talking a little quick there.
That's right. I'm sure the first 300 people that heard the phrase Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had to have people repeat it 100 different times before they could understand it. I'm sorry, say it again. Oops, get out of there.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that too. Yeah, and it's damn, it's fun. It's awesome. I'm so looking forward to this thing. And of course, I'm not going to get one copy. I got to get a couple. So when next we have Kenny back on, I can finally give one of these things out.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, it's winding down. We only got like 63 hours to go, so it's looking pretty good. So I expect we'll probably get like a little bump there at the end. So
I got to ask you, Kenny, how you doing at home with the whole homeschooling thing? Now you're winding down to the last couple of weeks.
Oh man, it's not so bad now that my classes are finished. So I go to school full time too, on top of doing my regular work, and then staying home with the kids too. So I got a pretty full plate. So with the kids being home, me having to homeschool them, that just made it like more chaotic. So now my school's done. I just finished my last final yesterday, so I should be pretty good.
Congratulations, man! Damn, look at you.
Done for the year, or done for the degree, or
done for now. I wasn't really going for a degree. I actually I was going for an art degree, and then I switched to Japanese. So it's just kind of take the classes at my leisure kind of thing, because I really don't have an end goal in mind.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of, they're kind of like these things where you don't really need a degree if you're fluent in Japanese, you don't have to have a degree saying, hey, I'm fluent in Japanese,
Right. Yeah.
So, and I'm getting there. I mean, I learned a lot. This year was pretty rough with this stuff going on. And then we had last semester, we had power outages from the fire, or from PG&E. So we had to miss a lot of class too. So it's kind of difficult, but
right.
We're getting there. Yeah, chaotic.
Nice.
I just say chaotic.
Kai says, hey.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, bud?
What's up, Kai?
Wait a minute. I can't see his name, but it is Kenny.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was highlighting names here, but it's we got Kenny and Dylan there. And he says he's getting so close to his second stretch goal on his owl. Yeah, he's getting there, man.
Wait a minute. So you said Margarita is just chill. So I can tell you this, right? This is just a random thing YouTube video I was watching.
I don't know.
It's just a skating video.
Okay.
And so, wait, have you seen? I'm sure you've seen it because you've seen a lot of skating stuff. So I was watching this Thrasher video, and apparently a bunch of these people. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to. I'm like, my brain's not functioning. Okay, so in the Thrasher video I watched, these guys like snuck over barbed wire into a. Almost like in a bit. Well, it was the winter, so it was a water park that wasn't open. And so they started skating the bowls and everything, and it was crazy. Yeah. And then they got caught, and they were like, we're going to jail. This is it. And then the guys were like, oh, we're cool with it. We're turning this place into a wave pool soon, and we're tearing this all down. We want you guys to shred all this shit. And they opened the gates, and they brought like the entire Thrasher crew. They brought all their buddies, and they just started skating the bowls going down. You know that giant tubing that goes down into the giant bowl? They skated down that, and they were going had to at least be 20 feet up the wall.
I think I saw that video on Facebook. I think I saw clips of that on Facebook.
And that's what I mean. You've probably seen it. I'm watching right now. It's crazy because of how high they're going.
That's all. You did get all your homework done. You promise.
I'm working on
That was a little pause there. Like, no.
I knew it because I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, he was supposed to finish one more project.
Well, see you later.
And I know what he's gonna do. He's got like 3 different pages open. So when I walk in there, he's clicking on one. And then I walk out and he clicks back to the other.
It's a classic trick.
So Chaos, you're asking where Kai's been. I've been keeping him in his bedroom as much as I can to try to get his homework done. He's got 2 weeks. That's why I asked you, Ken. He's got like 2 weeks left. All he has to do is like 3 days of work. My school, or the school that we have, is a charter school, and we're the one that the nation kind of bases off us. Okay. So yeah, he's just got to get through a few more days. He's got to set up his presentation and learning. Then he's done for the year. So I'm like, focus, son. Just focus.
What grade is he in?
He's in 9th.
Nice.
He just started high school.
I have a freshman and a junior right now, and
that's
they have I think their work's a little easier than my little kids have like a lot of work. Like my older kids are like just breezing through it right now. So. But it might just be too because I have to help them a lot, with the spelling and the math and stuff, So I think it might just seem like it's a lot more work because I have to be a little more involved. So that may be why.
I always think that schoolwork from around 8th grade and before, they're usually averaging around 2.5 hours. Anything in high school, they're doing about 1 to 2.5 at most per day.
Yeah, the little ones are doing like 3 to 4 hours a day, I think about.
Oof. Well, yeah, because now they're doing the full-time thing too. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's funky right now, man. It really is. And I feel bad for the teachers. I mean, the cool thing is they're also we lost Dylan. I think that there's validation there. People are starting to really realize how much these teachers are having to deal with.
Right.
Especially now that they're home. Hey, Dylan. Oh, we lost him again. But I'm lucky because we were doing this charter thing forever. So the majority of his schooling was always at home. Right. It wasn't until this year that he just started doing full-time school.
Yeah, it makes me think because I always thought about homeschooling because I'm a stay-at-home parent, so right. I get I don't know if I have time to do it, but we might. I don't know. It's always been kind of an option on the table, I think.
It's not. Especially for someone like you that's already home, it's not to the extent that you may think it is, meaning the difficulty level. You may find that as you're learning with them and you're creating the lessons, it's considerably easier than just taking a lesson that some scholastic system is trying to dictate to you. Because let me give you guys an example of one of the lessons I gave my son. You with us, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually got to take off though. I'm sorry. I want to catch the story, but I do got to get going. I just want to pop in and say thanks for having me on. I hope you guys have a good night.
Yeah, hey, we appreciate you being here. I want to teach my son a lesson. Yeah, and you guys are always welcome back at any time, please.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
So I want to give my son a lesson in hydrodynamics. And the lesson basically is how you can alter the flow and motion of water and actually guide areas with the altered system of edging and off edging. So it's a matter of kind of guiding, almost like a rudder system, and then going on a flat system, almost like a boat without a rudder, if that makes sense. So being able to guide, what is that? Not a kayak, but the outrigger style. So that lesson was a fancy way, because all he had to do is just write a few words about it, 50 to 100 words of the lesson, what he learned, and the area that he learned it at. Yeah, what that was basically was a fancy way of saying, son, grab your boogie board. We're going to spend 3 hours down at the beach riding waves.
I mean, and that's cool, right? I mean, you don't have to, it doesn't have to all be like textbook shit, you know?
Well, and that's the thing, is it's a matter of practical application. And one of the things that we were always taught when we were in school is that we're always cheating. But when you get into practical life, you're always working with people. You know, you're always doing research. Everything's open book. So that's kind of the lessons in which that chartered systems teach, is everything's kind of an open book. And depending on the lesson that you want, meaning if you want to do a math lesson, you can use it and apply it to any form of method that appeals to you.
Right.
So if you want to count comic books, you want to count, rocks, waves coming in every 30 seconds and what type of interval and what that means and how it works between waves and the depth, or what it takes to heat up peanut oil at 350 degrees. It's a matter of, actually practical application, other than regurgitating information that you'll never really utilize in life.
Yeah. I mean, I just finished planetary geology, and I'm telling you, I just finished my final yesterday, and it's just all in one ear and out the other. I don't even fucking remember anything. I mean, there's a little bit of stuff, there's a lot of little things like, certain things are made out of hydrogen and helium and stuff like that I'll probably always remember, but they're like little facts, right? But I mean, the bulk of the lessons are just kind of, they're kind of useless to me, really. It's just textbook shit, and it's not really of any interest at all.
But I mean, you took it for a reason. What was the reasoning behind it?
I needed a science class for the eventuality that I will get a degree. So I had a space for a science class. So I'm like, okay, I'll just take a science class, and that's just kind of where it landed. So
that's kind of interesting, though. I mean, now you have a molecular and I would imagine a chemical understanding. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I mean, it's really just kind of just a breakdown of what stuff's made out of, and they just talk about atoms and electrons and protons and all that crap. And I probably remember more than I'll give myself credit for, but it's funny stuff.
That, and it also allows you to, when you're in your writing, you can go ahead and be a little more realistic and practical. There's pragmatic aspects to where you're writing when you're going. Because I've had a buddy of mine, Brandon, he hit me up and he's like, okay, I need a ocean biologist to be able to answer this question. What happens at this Mariana Trench and at this depth of this type of product, and I was like, oh shit. Because in his writing, he wanted to be accurate. And
right.
I was like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah. I guess I didn't think of that element of it. I did take, I took a lot of, I took a bunch of classes early on, just like creative writing and different kinds of stuff, like a couple years ago. Stuff that was I thought was kind of useful. English class, because it probably been before I started writing the comic books. Or or at least this one, I probably hadn't even used a pencil in, 10 years, so.
That was Rose. She,
how's it going?
Yeah, she's one of the artists that actually worked together with Christy on her Demon Bitch.
Oh, cool.
A couple pieces in there, yeah.
I just picked up a copy of it from her yesterday. I don't know which one I got though. What is your? Do you have like an Instagram or something I can look at?
She does, yes. That you can find all that stuff on. I'm trying to think of what. I'm being lazy here. Whoa! One of my fucking Chaos is tossing down some cool shit. He's throwing down your links and all that. Chaos, I love you. You're the man. Let me go over here in this Instagram area. And I was hoping she was going to jump on tonight. I know she's been busy. And actually, you can find more stuff on Facebook now. I going on that. So let me see if I can. What book would you? You know what? I know what you got. You got the latest book. So the first book is Demon Bitch. She Sucks.
Yeah,
So
I think I got the first one. I think I'm not sure.
And the latest one I think she's just now putting it out. I'll post it one sec. Rose, you know what I need to do is I need to get back over here and give you a wrench. That's what I need to do. Make my life. Oh, you already got one. See? And she just tossed it down. Rose, you're the best. Hey, and I threw the invite out there. You don't have to actually throw your face out there if you don't want. So the invite's there if you want one. And cheers, Rose. Thank you. And to you, Chaos. You guys are freaking awesome taking care of us. So how are the kids doing right now? You got them to bed finally, or they still up? Hey, Dylan.
Are you asking me?
Yes, I am.
I'm over at my studio right now, so they're probably getting ready for bed right now, or in bed already. Yeah, I got my studio is just a couple blocks from my house, so it's just a quick little shot over here. I was actually fixing something, and I looked at my messenger, and I was like, "Oh, I guess I have time to do that since I'm already over here." So what was I doing? I was looking for that Instagram.
I had forgotten you made mention that you had gotten a nice place, a nice studio. Yeah,
I just need IKEA to open up so I can get the rest of my furniture picked up. I have piles of stuff everywhere. It's kind of messy. I mean, you can see all my guitars in the back. That's probably like the cleanest corner, and it's kind of messy.
I was actually going to bring that up. I was going to state that it's a multi-functioning studio, meaning it's both music and writing, art, and all that.
Yeah, I just started getting back into guitar. I had so when I hurt my when I blew my neck out, I got a severed nerve, and I lost all the sensation in my fingertips of my right hand. So playing guitar has been kind of tough. So I just started getting back into it this year.
Are you
bass
left or
is
right?
A little easier. I'm right-handed, so it's my picking hand is right. I just lost all the muscle memory in it. So I'm slowly getting it back. I got a good chiropractor. He's been like straightening me out, but I mean, a severed nerve is a severed nerve. You're not getting that back ever. So. I mean, you might. I mean, there's slight chance you could grow. The nerve can grow back, but I mean, I have had one in my mouth that was messed up that kind of came back a little bit, but it's never the same.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine it to be. I mean, like you said, once it's severed, it's. I mean, we haven't got there yet, but I know when we start playing with more stem cell stuff and things like that,
Yeah. Just gotta stay alive long enough to get the robot body, like that's the goal. Just live long enough until they can put me in like a cyborg.
You know what? It's not that far off. One of the things that we did with both Kai and Khalees is we kept their stem cells, and I have them cryogenically frozen. So the goal is one day we'll go ahead and we'll just throw a couple cells inside a machine and just go ahead and 3D print something out if they need it.
Yeah. something like that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting there. Hopefully. I can go ahead and start, like you're saying, I can build me some better pieces.
Let me see what that's what I was gonna look at. I was gonna see what There we go. That's the website. I couldn't remember what it was. Let's see here. I'm trying to see which book I bought. I would have bought them all, but I don't know what to get. Let's see here.
Well, they're all. I mean, when it gets in that sepulchre, that's totally different than anything else that she's done. So there's different, and like Demon Bitch, She Sucks. To me, it's a it's not something you want to rip through because they're mostly. It almost comes across as with a comic, like a newspaper print comic, that style.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it almost comes across that way. So I enjoy being able to just look at a little blurb and going on through my day and keeping that in the back of the head and just see if I come across that person.
Right. I think I got Hellfire and Damnation. I think it's the one I grabbed. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's the first one.
The cover stood out. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. So I just grabbed it. We'll see if I have time to read it. I have a stack of books over here actually sitting on the floor that I bought. Oh, geez. I've been buying them for months now. And I'm just like, I'll read that later. Never happens. Just like the games. I buy the games and then I'm like, fuck, when am I going to have time to play this?
Well, you definitely, I mean, of late, there's been time. It's just a matter of managing your, because I was talking to Derek and, he has kids too, another artist. And he's finding so much fun playing with his toys, making molds of his new toys that he's finding difficult time to manage everything else. You know what I mean? He's been wanting to build up a little shelf in his area, in his workstation. And it's just funny. Him going through all these motions of going, well, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this. I'm trying to figure out when though.
Right.
And I've been doing the same thing. I've been all but laying out a daily plan to try to figure out shit. And luckily,
that's kind of what I need to do.
And luckily I've been like, I was telling my wife the other day, I said, I'm a day ahead. That doesn't mean that I'm going to take a day off or anything. It just means that I'm going to pace out my next 2 to 3 days. You know what I mean? To where I'm not feeling as obligated to get shit done.
Right.
Well, all right. So, today I got another day ahead. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote my schedule out and let's see, what does this say up here? It says April. So I tried to plan on April. That worked okay until about the 15th. It looks like I crossed off 1 through 15. So I went through those 15 days and then it just went to shit.
Hey, well, a start's a start. You know what I mean? And you can ask yourself, hey, if it worked, maybe I'm going to try it again.
I think I bought a planner in 2019. I think I bought a planner and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write a schedule. I'm gonna do it this year. And I don't think I touched it. It's still sitting in here somewhere. And then I got another one for 2020 and it's already May. I haven't even seen it since I bought it. It's in a box somewhere, I'm sure. So
you really haven't had a whole lot of use for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm. It's been a whirlwind of a year. I mean, like I went on a trip to the North Coast in January with the family, and it seems like it was 5 years ago. It's just seemed like a whole different era, like compared to like with all this shit that's been going on. It's just such a trip.
Yeah, the wife she goes, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but you know how cheap airplane flights are right now? And I'm looking at her like, I'm not even thinking about this,
Can you even go anywhere right now on an airplane? Is that a thing? Can you? Okay.
Yeah, there are people that I've seen that look like the boy in the plastic bubble type situation, you know what I mean, that are doing it, and I know that there's some super incentively cheap priced, deals right now, but I'm no, I guess is the short answer.
Well, I was thinking, I was thinking like maybe in like September or something, I might try to like jump on a flight to Japan and just go hang out for a few days, just because, I mean, it might be viable, to just go do something like that. It might only cost a couple $100. Cause I mean, I think normally a round trip's like, I don't know, somewhere around $2,000, I think.
Yeah.
So, and that's quite a bit of money, but I don't even know if I'd be able to get a passport right now at this point. It's kind of with a lot of things, like a lot of services being, reduced, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I remember that Georgia was doing is they were planning on talking about easing up on licenses for new drivers to the point that you really didn't have to meet the normal mandates that you would for your driver's license. Now, exactly what that entails, meaning like not even have to take a test, to not necessarily have to go to the DMV to receive it. I don't know exactly what that means, but I do know that they were being very laxed. So depending on the state and depending on what's going on, I think is it's we're in some really interesting times right now. So I don't know. I don't. I know my wife was saying that she was looking through our passports because she was making this consideration, and she said, "Yeah, we're expired also." And I told her, I go, I'm not feeling comfortable about. She goes, well, maybe we can do it online. So I didn't ask her yet, but it's possible that you might be able to file most things online. And if you're just renewing, maybe they might be able to do some type of expedient or.
Yeah, I don't even have a passport at this point. I've never left the country. So, well, I've been to Mexico once, but that was like a long time ago.
Yeah, no, yeah, you would definitely, yeah, the way things are now, even with the new California licenses that you have to, there's 2 different licenses.
Oh yeah. I just have the regular one, I think.
Yeah, they wouldn't even. Yeah, they're really scrutinizing things.
Isn't the other one a federal? Isn't it a federal thing?
Correct.
It's got like a federal stamp on it.
Yeah, that allows you to go in the federal buildings and federal aspects that you just need a higher level of security. So they're actually making that into going. I think out of state they want to see. I think they might want to see that depending on what state you're going. Yeah, I think it would be okay for neighboring states. Meaning, if you're in California, you can go to like an Arizona or a Nevada or an Oregon without a problem. But possibly anything beyond that, or having to take in a flight, that might be causing an issue too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't usually travel, so I mean, in most cases, it's just a drive. I mean, California's pretty big, so you can go a lot of places without leaving California.
And it's so many microclimates, you only have to travel so far before you're like, oh, look, desert. Oh, look.
Oh, I know.
Snow. Oh, look.
It's this. I know this place is crazy. I did. I drove all the way from Redding, California, all the way to the border, the Mexican border, long ass time ago. I was like 12 hours, I think, in the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a straight shot, though. I mean, you just get on I-5 and just drive all the way down.
California is a very long state.
I got friends in Florida. They're like, do you live near LA? I'm like, no, not even close, man. Do you live near San Francisco? Nope, not even close. You're like, where the hell do you live? I'm like, I live way the fuck in the middle of nowhere.
Well, you're actually almost closer to Sequoia type area, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's about a 2.5 hour drive up to the coast. So we're at the very tip of the valley up here. So, like, I mean, 2 blocks behind my house is hundreds of miles of forest. So nice. I'm like right on the edge of civilization. It's got its perks, but then it's got its shitty things too. Like 2 years ago, we had a really massive fire, and it was just everything was on fire for 2 months. We were surrounded everywhere. It was terrible. I mean, you guys get that down in LA too, though, right? You guys get a lot of wildfires and shit down there too, right?
Not where we're at. No, there's, I mean, not literally, I mean, by the LAX area. So the areas in which that you had seen burn would be about a good 25 to 30 miles north of me is where it would start. And then it would be burning more north of there, which is your Santa Monica and type mountains,
Gotcha.
So we're very concrete jungly. We're only, what would you say, 4 miles away from the beach? Yeah, we're 4 miles away from the actual ocean.
Oh, so you guys are real close to it then, yeah. I live like 4 miles from one of the biggest lakes up here, so I could ride my bike there if I wanted. I'd have to go up some hills, but I mean, I could.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. I haven't in a while, but yeah, I do when I feel like it, I guess. You gotta, it's all the stuff you gotta do to be able to go fishing now. You gotta pay $65 for a license, and it's like, if I pay for the yearly, then I'm like, okay, well now it feels like I have to go.
Yeah, to make it worth it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, well, shit. Like, well, this kind of sucks. But I mean, I don't I just like to catch like bass. I don't like to eat the fish out of the water up here. They have a lot of mercury and shit in the water, supposedly. So it's not, the fish here aren't very good for eating, I don't think, because there's a lot of recreation boats and shit and stuff like that up in the lake. So
Right. No, I used to do the same thing right over here in my, I mean, I would never eat anything out of an LA lake right here, but I would do the same. I would go for catfish, and some of the ones that would really hurt, meaning pulling the hook out, I'd mulch up and throw it into my bed, flower bed, or I'd have an area for soil that I'd mix up and use for the next year or so. But most times, it was a catch and release, most times, and it was just something to do. Just, I mean,
yeah. Yeah, I might get out there this summer and go fishing a little bit. We like to go. Me and my buddies like to go out catfishing too. My brothers and all of us used to get together and go out and go catfishing. So, and that's nice. You just hang out and drink beer all night and just try to catch catfish.
Yeah, see, and that was another thing is cats. That was such a nighttime thing. It was so fun, like you're saying. It was a great time. Again, same situation. Me and about 2 other friends of mine. We'd go out after dark when you're not supposed to, allegedly, around 9 o'clock and hang out until around 2 a.m. and just.
You're not supposed to go out fishing at nighttime out there?
No, not in the LA type area. No.
Huh, that's crazy. Yeah, I never heard of that. Yeah, we I heard that the down in the Clear Lake area they catch channel cats like during the day, and they're big ass fish. They're just humongous, giant catfish. I've never been to fishing down there. I lived down there when I was a kid, but we never went fishing in that.
That would scare me.
Yeah, I mean those fish
those things are monsters.
Yeah,
they're thrown out of here. Were just they weren't. More mouths were opening that big, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the ones that those guys are pulling out of there are between 4 and 6 feet. I think they're like big ass, huge ones. Yeah, I bet it's a lot of fun to try and catch one of those things, though.
I couldn't even imagine those big old pointy, bones on the neck. How you would, because the little ones fucking stick you. So I couldn't imagine those big boys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those little ones will slice you wide open.
They have many a times. That's what I mean. Not always make it, and it isn't necessarily through their fault. Is I'm trying to yank the hook out, and they get me, I get them. It's like, all right, well, I guess you're gonna be mulch.
Right. Yeah, that's actually really good for the garden too. You could buy it in you used to buy it in like jugs. You could just buy it like they just mulch it up and just put it in a jar like a jug. It smells terrible.
Yeah, and it's really hot, meaning you wouldn't want to use it just fresh like that. You would prefer, because again, I would hit it, let's say maybe early in the year, so maybe just a month or 2 before this. So let's say February, March, and then I'd let that stuff sit out in an area and just rot. And then once it's rot, you go ahead and add in a little bit of dirt, and you just keep adding, and you just keep turning and adding until it's where you like it, and then you just take that and mix it in with whatever area that you want. But you definitely want to let it sit so it's not as hot. You know what I mean? You're not burning your plants and all that.
Well, yeah, you don't want to put it out when it's like 100 degrees out either, because it just smells so bad.
Yeah, well, that's where it helps also to. That's why I suggest is if you water it down a little bit and then you turn it in with soil, and if you keep flipping it and turning it, it'll get rid of not only the smell over a course of time before you add into your plant matter, but it'll get rid of a lot of that smell.
It gets rid of like the acidity, I guess, right? And that brings up the pH balance in the soil or some shit.
Correct.
I think that they sell the soil with bat guano in it too, and it's like really, really bad. I guess it's really bad for you if you don't want to get it in your eyes and shit will blind you. But
bat guano is really nasty.
Same concept, I think.
Blood meal, so it's the same thing. It's a fine dust matter, and if you get that into your lungs, it can cause some serious stuff. So it's better off trying to buy stuff that's already pre-made as a liquid. That way you don't have to worry about it. And actually, and it's interesting that you bring that up, because I'm actually going to be in the process of making my own soil again. I did it in the front yard, and I'm going to be doing it in the back. And all I do is I just take your regular garden soil, and I just add in a little extra vermiculite and perlite, and then I just throw it in the back, and voila.
Yeah, I started a garden this year, but it's all pots because we have a lot of cats in the neighborhood, so I got to figure out a solution for that. But hopefully next year I can, if I have a solution for it, I can utilize a big chunk of my backyard for building the garden because it's not doing anything else.
Now I am going, because I have 5, and if you want to check this out, what they are, they're called rainforest. But I bought General Hydroponics is the name of the company. 5 Rainforest 66, and what that is an aeroponic unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw those outside. They hold 6-inch pots, and it's an aeroponic unit. So you just fill it up with water with a little bit of nutrient solution, run it for about a week, and then you just throw in a pump in there, and you can just pump out the water, the solution. You just pump that out into your regular flower bed type area, because I have flowers and shit everywhere, and then you refill it. So all your vegetables, anything like that, you can go ahead and grow into there, build a little trellis behind it. And then to protect the unit, I'm just going to put up a little boards around the unit, because the unit is 2 foot. It's a 2 foot barrel by 2 foot high.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to build like a 2 1/4 foot square little piece of light, just something to cover it so it doesn't, so the outdoors don't ruin the unit. And I'm just going to leave that out there, man, because I've used these units for the past 25 years. I've been growing aeroponically with different forms of stuff for the past 30 years. So, I mean, it's really easy for me to go ahead and just go right back to all the easy stuff that I know, meaning you can do any of the melons in it. You just vine off and trellis. You can do all your tomatoes and all that other shit.
Right.
I actually shut down a unit for 3 months, and it was shut down the unit. Didn't change it or anything. Just shut it down, unplugged it, and left it alone. It was still producing for 3 months later.
It's crazy. I got one of those, those little bamboo things you buy, those little stupid, I mean, it's just like a little stalk of bamboo you buy in a little pot, right? I got this one. I took really good care of that thing. I let it grow for about 1.5 years. I haven't watered it in it's still sitting in my old garage office at my house, and I haven't watered that thing in 4 weeks, and it's still growing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy shit.
Hey, it's happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with it, but yeah, it's doing pretty good. It's probably about 4 feet tall now. It's one of those little ones you buy in the little pots with the rocks. It's about that big when I got it.
And it's 4 feet.
Yeah, it's about 4 feet tall. I mean, it's a pretty good size.
Yeah, it's rad.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever gonna get thicker, or I don't think it will. I think it's just gonna grow tall, or it might stop growing. I have no idea.
Well, you can actually cut it. I would suggest watching a video on how people do it and all that. But you can cut it at a 45-degree angle at a certain height and go ahead and dump it right back into the thing, and now you got another one.
Right.
Cloning. That was one of the things I actually posted today. Is I posted a couple of pics of some flowers, and the pics that I posted was a clone that I took. I had when my daughter was born, a good friend of my wife asked, "Hey, can I give you guys something?" And I said, "Well, sure. What do you mean? Well, now that your daughter's born, I would like to give you something to, celebrate her birth." I said, "Do me a favor and buy a rose bush." So we have that rose bush growing outside the back of my daughter's window to this day. So when she wakes up, she can open it up. There's her flowers. My son never got that. So what I did is I said, hey, when he was 9 years old, I go, hey, go pick out a rose bush. We're going to go pick one out for you. I said, all right. So we picked it out. And then I took a clone of it 3 years ago, and it's finally at a level that I can go ahead and plant it in front of his window now. So now that when I get done with all this, I'm going to put that out there for him.
So they can't sneak out the window in the middle of the night, right? I mean, I just told my kids, I'm like, don't even try it because you'll never get away with it. There's cameras everywhere. Everywhere. I'm awake in the middle of the night, almost all the time. You're never going to get away with that shit. So don't even bother. You want to go out of the house, just talk to me. Maybe we can maybe we can do it. Yeah, celery. We did green onions too. You could just throw them in water and they just grow. It's the weirdest thing. We had just cut the little ends off there about like that big, so, like that big, and then like they're like that tall now, and you could just cut them and eat them, and then they'll just grow right back. So
same with romaine lettuce. You could do that 2 to 3 times before you'll start tasting it to get a little bitter and older. You know what I mean? But yeah,
right.
you could do the same thing with that. Garlic. We did our own garlic a few times. You know, and it's relatively pretty easy. So once you use the soil method that I said for your like carrots and things of that nature, the underground things, your garlics, and then with the things that are above ground, you know, I go aeroponic and I just do a trellis system, so it's something to support because they get so big and heavy because of all the water mass behind it that you start snapping off limbs. So if you don't have something to be able to hold it on, you know what I mean? You'll just end up with pieces on the ground.
Yeah, totally.
Well, usually I call it when the drink is gone. So on these Margarita Mondays, my drink had kind of finished up. So how about we call it here, Kenny?
Yeah, it's good, man. Cool. Yeah, I just figured I'd drop by and say what's up. That works out perfectly.
Nice. I appreciate you. I appreciate the community for hanging out. And Kenny, don't go away. But from us at 1-2 Comic Talk, thank you for hanging out. And we'll be seeing you on their next Margarita Monday. Take care, community. Thank you much.